Oh, hello everyone. It's great to see you out there. And thank you for that great music. It was wonderful. Love it. What a week. Yes, we have an election. Well, it's time to reconnect with each other and be a friend. So today's topic is BFF. Best friends forever. So with Thanksgiving in 2 weeks, I've been writing in my journal. Now most of you should have gotten a journal. Pick one up if you don't have one with Thanksgiving and write in it. Keep writing in it. And it's all about thankfulness. And I just wanted to say thank you to all the people and friends in my life, and thank you to everyone here. I'm grateful for everyone that's been in my life, and there's a benefit to older age. As you get older, you have more experiences with your friends, and it's good, especially the BFFs. So sharing life is a spiritual path. Friendship has always belonged at the core of spiritual journey. Friends show us God in them and reflect the divinity in us. They show us love, interconnectedness, and community. But first, a little levity. You know, there's nothing better than a friend. Well, except one with chocolate. How do you think sheep go to sleep? They count friends. One more. After much hesitation, a woman summoned the courage to call her friend and sing happy birthday to her over the phone. Well, halfway through her rendition, she realized, oh, I dialed the wrong number. And so she says to the woman on the other end of the line, well, why didn't you stop me when you realized it was a wrong number? And the woman says, because, honey, you need all the practice you know. Wasn't like a friend, though. That's what a friend will tell you. A quote from Albert Schweitzer. I don't know if you knew, Albert Schweitzer was known as a physician, but he was also a theologian. He was a minister. He said, in everyone's life, at some time, our inner fire goes out. It's then burst into flame by an encounter with another human being. We should all be thankful for those people who rekindle the inner spirit. And that's a friend. The dictionary says a friend is a person whom one knows and with whom one has a bond of mutual affection. It's someone who accepts you unconditionally, helps you grow, supports you in tough times, increases your ability to love. And the BFF, what is a BFF? Well, I first saw that abbreviation a couple of years ago in emails, texts. People started saying BFF. And it's like, what? And I realized that the BFF really means there is a bond that can hold the test of time. And I am grateful that in the second half of my life, I have many friends and quite a few BFFs. It's a gift to be enjoyed your entire life. And have you ever had a conversation with a BFF and you just felt filled with energy and you just felt like you were both pushing each other higher and you were getting more excited about life and basically you were lighter and energized and you felt interconnected and multiplied? Well, I'll speak more about that later because I think that's a spiritual law where two or more are gathered. When you're really two or more come together in love, and there's a multiplication effect. The first, I wanted to mention that Buddhism says a friend is someone who knows everything about your life, still loves you. And Muhammad Ali, he said, friendship is the hardest thing in the world to explain. It's not something you learn in school. But if you haven't learned the meaning of friendship, you really haven't learned anything. And I don't know if you're familiar with William Butler Yeats. He was an Irish playwright who won the Nobel Prize in Literature. He said, there are no strangers here, only friends you haven't met yet. I love this one from Mark Twain. The holy passion of friendship is so sweet and enduring a nature, it will last a whole lifetime, if not asked to lend money. So spiritual laws, you know the saying, you can never have too many friends. Well, how do you become a friend? How do you gain a friend? One way is to understand this law of attraction and also the law of reflection. And thank you, Jan, for talking about the law of attraction, which is you're sending out thoughts of love. You're being loved. And what you think about comes about. You attract others like you. So if everything is ultimately energy, like energy attracts like energy. The law of attraction says that the universe creates and provides for you that which your thoughts are focused on. What you think on, you produce more of. And that's become evident in quantum physics, but that's another talk. The results of positive thoughts are always positive consequences. The same holds true for negative thoughts. The mind of each one of us is in and operated through the mind of God, functioning at the level of our perception of life. And if we consciously use this power, this power for good, we bring into our experience a better environment, happier circumstances, a better community, and more friends. The other law of reflection, this is basically says our friends are God. More than just joy, our friends are mirrors. So it's a reflection. We see people around us, our friends, and if we see what we like, we know that is a reflection of us. Now, we are drawn to people who are like us in nature and in consciousness. Life, if we're loving and giving, our life will have those qualities. Now, if you're around people that are judgmental, critical, you may want to look in the mirror. Look at yourself. But we have this unwavering urge to connect ourselves to the whole and understand our interconnectedness. We have a desire to know that we're part of something bigger. And there's something bigger, some of us think is nature, some call it the force be with you, the unknowable, the absolute pure spirit. Some call it Brahma, some call it Hashem. And we want to know ourselves as a part of that presence, that power, that love. And that is what allows us to be in true friendship. So have any of you spent time around horses? I grew up on a farm and spent a lot of time around horses, but if you notice, they tune into each other. And they're herd animals. They have friendships, they have rivalries, they have alliances, just like we do. And it's like their brains are wired together in a network. We need community. We need friends. We're designed to function in groups, in packs, or pack animals. But we can be a friend to anyone. We can feel that unconditional love because Spirit has befriended us. We love God because we can love because God first loved us. Just remember, love is forever. The world's people are our friends, people with different political parties, different religions, different education, different beliefs. So can you say, I love the world and all the people? I love the world and all the people as myself. That's the golden rule. But the golden rule is to love one another, but there's a golden rule of friendship, which is listen to others as they would listen to you. Be a good listener. And if you're recovering from the election, be open to love. Ernest Holmes, our founder, said, love is the grandest healing and drawing power on earth. So love will draw love to you, friends to you. He also said, if you're without friends, be sure to erase from your consciousness any sense of lack. We erase thought and consciousness by pouring in an opposite thought. This thought meets the other and neutralizes it. He says, when there's no longer anything in our mentality which denies our word, a demonstration will be made. Do you remember that? I don't know if it was Reverend Amon Dravit had a pitcher, like if you've got a pitcher of muddy water and you keep pouring clean water into it, the muddy water leaves. And that's the concept. If you keep putting into your consciousness the good, love, community, friendship, the feelings of lack and anger and disappointment will leave. Also, ask for what you want. Always be clear what you want, but not how it is to be done. Leave that up to Spirit. If you want a friend, be clear, I want a friend to play bridge with, or go to the mall with, or go to the beach with, or I want a friend that I can have wonderful talks with. Ask for it in prayer and be open to receive. Say yes. Now that last one, which I wanted to mention, is not so much a spiritual law, but there's an amplification that happens when two or more people come together for love, in love. So God is love, and they're celebrating this. And, it says the New Testament, there are many versions of the New Testament, but there's one that says when two or more come together, the I am is present. The I am is God. And when God is present, it's all good, beautiful. Ray Bradbury, he's an author. He said, somebody asked him, well, when is a friend formed? At what point do you call someone a friend? And he said, we can't tell the precise moment when friendship is formed. It's like filling a vessel drop by drop. There's at last a drop, which makes it run over. So in a series of kindnesses, there is at last one which makes the heart run over. About 5 years ago, my BFF, Eileen, died, and we had this amazing spiritual friendship. I was 19 and she was 18 when we met, and she was Jewish, and I had the honor of being a chuppah holder. There's a canopy in a Jewish wedding, and I got to hold one of the edges, one of the supports for the chuppah. And I recall her rabbi said to her and her husband, the most important thing I want you to be in this lifetime is friends. I want you to be friends. And I thought, how wonderful if the person you're married to can be your best friend. And, we talked about children, jobs, life, husbands, everything. It was wonderful. But the greatest was we would talk about God. We would talk about Spirit. In Hebrew, Hashem. And the relationship was magical. And I feel like I haven't really lost her because I remember the moments that we spent together, laughing and just feeling so excited about this thing called life. There's a quality about our friendship that's still with me and there's immortality in that. That made me think of a poem by E.E. Cummings, which I carry your heart with me. I carry it in my heart. Such a blessing to have a good friend. So I wanted to tell you a story about an angel in disguise. There was a woman who received help from a friend because I won't give her name, but in 2016 she was diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder, and her blood had too much clotting factor, and her arteries and her organs were affected. Well, one night, not long after the diagnosis, she booked a room in a hotel. She had been homeless, and she booked this room on the street. She bought massive amounts of painkillers and benzodiazepine, and she felt she was going to end it all. Well, about 9 o'clock that night, a younger woman, someone she had met just 4 times earlier, sent her a message asking her if she wanted to hang out. And she said yes. When she got there, she talked about everything except for her planned suicide. And the friend offered her a spare room and offered her help with medical appointments. So fast forward 3 years later, this woman met the man of her dreams. She got married. She improved her health. And she finally told her friend that her friend had stopped her from killing herself. And her friend cried. And she said, I don't know why. She had invited her over that evening. That I like to think, it was the angel in her. She knew. And it just takes one friend to create a miracle. We all create miracles. You can be that angel in disguise. Nicole Fuentes, who's an author, Nicole is a professor at the Universidad de Monterrey. She said, Mexicans are overachievers in the production of happiness. The Mexican recipe to happiness includes a large dose of social contact, lots of social bonding, talking, laughing, joking. Families eat together, and families include grandparents and sons and daughters and in-laws and grandchildren, and friends at work eat together almost every day. And anything is an excuse for a party. Music, beer, lots of jokes. The keys to happiness: spend less time alone and laugh more. Find happiness in little things. Grow your circle of friends. Happiness gets amplified when you're surrounded by people. And Robert and I can attest to that. We used to live in Ajijic, Mexico, which is near Lake Chapala and Guadalajara. And our neighbors owned the house we were renting, and we used to go over and play with them a game called Mexican Train. It's wild. And it's 2 sets of dominoes and 8 people, up to 8 people. And it's so much fun. And as the game wears on, there's more and more tequila. And people speak louder and louder. And, even though we could not understand all the Spanish that was being spoken, we understood the love. Love is a mystical combination that emerges between people. It's a flame. So Miguel and Adriana, best friends forever. One other story. This is a story about 2 brothers, and they were farmers, and they lived on joining farms for 40 years. But they got into a rift, and they started arguing, and they stopped speaking with each other. And one morning, a carpenter came to the older brother, John's house, and said he was looking for work. Well, John said, I've got a job for you. Look across the creek at the farm across here. That's my neighbor, my younger brother. Last week, there was a meadow between us, and he took his bulldozer to the levee. Now there's a creek between us. It's just widening. See that pile of lumber? I want you to build me a fence, an 8-foot fence, so I don't have to see him anymore. The carpenter said, I gotcha, I understand. And he took the wood and the nails and the post hole digger, and he started working, and the older brother had to go to town for supplies, so he was off for the day. Well, the carpenter worked hard all day. About sunset, when the farmer returned, the carpenter had just finished his job. While the farmer's eyes stared in amazement, there was no fence there at all. There was a bridge stretching from one side of the creek to the other, and the younger brother was coming across the bridge with his hand outstretched. And the younger brother said, "You are quite a friend to build this bridge after all I've said and done." And the two brothers stood shaking their hands and talking in the middle of the bridge. And they turned to see the carpenter hoist his toolbox on his shoulder and lay it, saying, "I have more bridges to build." So instead of building walls, let's build bridges. Awaken to the awareness that what you do makes a difference. And as we face these challenges with civilization, it can be in community. We can join with like-minded people, join in purpose, create something bigger than any one of us can create alone. Don't underestimate the power that you have. Now, I don't know if some of you had children, but when my daughter was little, I used to tell her the story of the magic soup stone. Some of you may be aware of it. Well, what happened is there's this mysterious stranger, and he comes to town. This is a poor town. This is poor people. And he's got this stone, and he says it can cook soup again and again. You are, oh, okay. So to prove it, he puts it in a pot of boiling water in the center of the town. And the soup is cooking, and it's coming along. The fire's going well and starting to boil. And he says, well, spices would make this a little better. And one person in town, I've got some spices. Okay, and so they bring the spices. And then after it's cooking a while, he says, well, maybe some vegetables would help. And somebody over there says, I've got a head of cabbage. Somebody over there says, I've got 2 carrots. Somebody over here, I've got a beet. And people start bringing potatoes and all kinds of things. And finally, somebody says, oh, I've got a piece of meat. And they bring it. And they create this soup. And this wonderful soup for everyone. And the town doesn't feel poor anymore. They feel empowered. We all, in some way, have hunger. We hunger for love, for other forms of love. But we all have arms to wrap around each other and feed each other physically and spiritually. And when we each put our own ingredients into the soup, we're all fed, we're all nourished. So this week and this holiday and this year, this election cycle, make a commitment to be a living representation of God's love and peace. Our world is being transformed by the miracle of friendship. So celebrate life by living in love and as love. Renew your friendships. Give them a call, give them a text. Stay with your circle of friends. You be the miracle, and your life will be graced with many BFFs. Thank you.